All right, welcome everybody to our expert interview this afternoon. We are here with the one and only Caroline Huo of KW Luxury, and we have got a fantastic topic for you today. One of the things we get asked all the time when it comes to training our team members, onboarding them, helping them learn new things is what's the best way to train team members? And one of those subsets of that conversation is how do I train my team members to create a luxury experience for my client if they've never worked in luxury or if they've never lived luxury? Like, how do I teach somebody this if they've never been in this? And so we have got Caroline here today to help us through this topic. So, Caroline, while I've introduced you a little bit and told people what we're going to talk about, tell us a little bit more about you and why this is a passionate thing for you and why you are our expert on this topic today.
Liz, thank you for inviting me. You are someone I look up to and aspire to be in my business. And I'm just really welcoming this opportunity for you. So, my name is Caroline Huo, and Liz, you said it beautifully. I would say 98% of the people butcher my name. So, it's Caroline Huo, beautifully. Thank you. And
Do you know why? Because you taught me, you said it's like WH, you're like WHOA, but there's just no A. I'm like, whoa. You're like, yeah, like, whoa. I'm perfect. Got it. And now I got it.
So I know I have to train people then. I have to train people how to say it. So I am the San Francisco Bay Area. I have been in the real estate business for the last 22 years and one of the top teams in the region, in the country. And in 2021, I was invited to the opportunity to co-lead the Keller Williams Luxury Division on behalf of Keller Williams. So I co-lead the Luxury Division alongside Brady Sandall. And my role is a director of professional development, curating course material to help our agents really elevate their standards. I was using the word elevate before ChatGPT, so I can say it. We're elevating the
There you
standards.
go. No M dashes
No
included.
M
No M
dashes.
dashes.
Yes, that's right.
So let's talk about this idea, right?
Hmm.
We've got teams that sell all kinds of price points, right? Some are exclusively luxury based on their geographic location. Others might sell anything from first-time home buyer, move-up buyer to elevated multi-million dollar luxury properties and curating these experiences. But that doesn't always necessarily mean that the people who join into our world, who we view as talent, have led that kind of experience before, that they've worked in those price points or even come from a background where they've experienced those price points. So, where do we start? Like, if I hire somebody that's talented and I like this person, right? And I believe they can do the things that I do inside my business, but that's a different animal. Where do we start with somebody on that?
Completely. And first thing is within Keller's Luxury, we've been training on this and saying this for a long time. Luxury is not the price point, it's experience, right? And now other brokerages are adopting that. So what it truly just transcends price points. It is how you serve. And everyone, no matter the price point, deserves that luxury experience, whether it's a one bedroom condo to a $30 million estate. Everyone, because we're human, we all deserve that experience. And what luxury means, it is anticipating your client's needs before they even ask. It is solving problems before they even know they have it. And it must be easy, fast, beautifully curated and finished, with moments of surprise and delight that shows you that you know them, that you hear them, that you understand who they are, that it's just not cookie cutter, right? And so in the luxury market, true, high net worth, ultra high net worth, this is expected. This is standard. It's not a surprise delight. It's actually a standard to maintain. And great question is, many of us may serve at a very high price point or higher price point, but we don't live like they do. So the most important thing is education and experience. So when we serve, it is truly ingrained in us. And when we have an agent come on board with us, we actually have a training portal. And the first training they ever receive before they look at contracts or anything like that is who we are, what is our culture, what is our service standard. They have to go through that module before they can go into the next module, right? So it sets the stage of who we are and what we're about before they can start learning. I want to open the eyes to that.
I think it's so interesting when you look at it, right? Like luxury is the experience, not necessarily the price point.
Right.
But to that fact, and you stated it of sometimes we're dealing with ultra high net worth where the expectation is such.
Yeah,
And many of us don't live that, right? Many of us don't live that. We've never experienced necessarily some of those things and some of the expectations, and yet we have to provide it. And
yeah,
so it's such an interesting contradiction when we look at it of doesn't mean you're driving the Bentley to just be able to help somebody that drives a Bentley. It's a
no,
completely different aspect from there.
yes, and absolutely right. And I believe it's through exposure. So I'll take them to a Michelin star restaurant, right? And I'll treat the team and say, okay, before we walk in, this is gonna be fun, but this is also for education. Observe, from the moment we book the reservation through how we step to the door, what do they say to us? What is their tonality? How are they dressed? When we're seated, how are they seating us? How are they presenting the meals? How are they checking on us? I mean, they're all around us, but they're really not around us. Like, how do we do
Right.
that? I take them to, five-star hotels. And, when we were in New York with Phil Jones, we stayed in a five-star hotel. I wanted them to experience that, right? And debrief with me, how did you feel? And so it's not a thing. Luxury is a feeling, right?
It's interesting when you say that. Like a lot of people will train through shadowing, right? People say, well, they shadowed me. How did you train this person? Well, they shadowed me, they followed me, they did this. And that's great. But I think to your point of one, the experience, but two, and this is where you nailed it. And this is where people miss this on shadowing too. So, like, where shadowing is great, it'd be one thing if you took them to the restaurant or to the hotel and you said, I want you to experience a five-star restaurant, Michelin star restaurant. I want you to experience a five-star hotel.
Mhm.
And, I want you to experience it. But the power is in I want you to observe the small things. I
Yes,
want you to debrief. I want you to understand and watch how things are done. It's one thing to shadow and or to experience something. It's another to analyze the experience with intention. And I
yes.
think that's the kind of the definitive difference there. A lot of people have had really great experiences, but have they analyzed with intention what made that experience great?
That's right. They can't pinpoint it, right? But if you
Mhm.
go in before and say, watch for this. And then also, when people are shadowing, they're watching you how to do something. They're not experiencing how you do it. And so that's why I think every agent needs to sell their own house or be a buyer
No,
to
no, it's horrible. It's the worst.
or be
No.
a client, right? Be a client so you can understand whether, I mean, I'm packing right now to move and I'm like, oh my gosh, our poor clients when I'm telling them to move in a week. So
Mhm.
it's things like that. We take them to 10, 20, $30 million homes and say, okay, look at this kitchen. What makes it different? What's it different in the material? Can you name that type of cabinetry? So education gives confidence, right? So if they're not educated, if they're not aware, they're going to kind of hold back and feel like they don't belong. So, yeah,
That's an interesting part in there, right? One of the things I say a lot is confidence is just the experience of success felt over and over again. And in order to have confidence, that means we have to experience success. But
mm,
how do we begin to experience success? Typically through actually experiencing failures, right? And at bats and reps and experiencing those things. I love the aspect of taking them in and showing them. Here's the kitchens. What do we see different? What material is this? How is this structured? What's the construction here? Those kind of reflective questions. And when they get it right, builds the confidence. It's the experience of success to then say to a client, here's what this is, here's what this looks like.
that's right. That's right. And also there's the intangibles, right? It is the soft skills are just as important. It is knowing when to, if somebody is not showy, like we take off our jewelry. If somebody is they're more dressed up, we start putting our jewelry on, right? We want to match who they are to say, like, we are in your world, we understand. And not part of the service standard is how to show up, when to know to talk, when not to talk. A lot of agents love to talk and they talk themselves out of a client. When not to talk, when to lead, and when to sit back and listen. I mean, that's all part of the experience. every text, every email, every phone call is an audition, right? It's an audition to for them to say, yes, this is the right choice in choosing Caroline and her team, or gosh, that was the wrong choice. And so in addition to earn their next purchase or sale, it's to earn the right to be introduced to their friends and family, people they care about, right? So every time we're in front of them is an audition. And so we have to be prepared, and that's through practice.
To a lot of people, luxury can be intimidating, right? The price point, the fact that they're not from necessarily that they don't earn that, it can be intimidating for them to say, well, I'm not from this world. Have you ever brought somebody into your organization or worked with possibly an agent, a team in KW Luxury that's had people that are just saying they come in and it's just, I can't, and they just can't adapt into the world of that type of service?
The total mindset. Absolutely. I've coached people who just they have all the skills. They can do it, but it's just in their head that says, I don't belong, right? And if you have the mindset that you're not there, you don't need to belong in that world. You just need to how to consult that, consult them. That's your job, is to consult them. And if you know more about real estate than they do, you're already ahead of the head, right? So it's that mindset that people need to switch on. And it's okay. I mean, I know people who are selling luxury and they're in boots and jeans and that's their vibe and that's their clientele and they're crushing it. And it's skills, not tenure. It's skills, not your background. It's all about skills and it all comes down to education.
I think that's such an interesting thing to look at when mindset's where it starts with everything. It's always the mindset. Can I do this? Am I the right person for this? What's my education? What's my confidence in this? But it's the mindset that really drives it. But if we can't get out of our own way on the mindset
Yeah.
that we belong, you'll never break through that price point, right?
Sure.
It's self-sabotage, I'm sure, begins to kick in at some point.
Sure. You can have two agents, and one agent is completely competent and telling themselves that they're not, don't belong in that world, and then refuse to step into that world, and versus another agent who may not have the skills or the tenure, but they're going to go see the high priced houses. They're educating themselves, they're inserting themselves into learning mode, into where the clientele are, right? And they're surrounding themselves in that. And that gives them confidence. So this person could far exceed what this person does.
Makes sense.
I don't know if that makes sense.
So now let's imagine. So we've got these team members, they've come on board
Yeah.
and we've been showing them, we've been analyzing, we've been reflecting on what a luxury experience is. You've got in your team, you've got the portal, which is amazing that they go through modules of training. I love that. A high recommendation for anybody. As you're building your businesses, that's a really good thing to start and to create and to do as you go so that you can train people no matter what your service is, whether that's luxury or not. It's the training on the systems that duplicates what you do, right? So that you don't always have to be the one firsthand talking about it. It's recorded. So little sidebar there for
Yeah.
everybody. But now how do we actually curate a luxury experience? So what is a luxury? Now we've got their mindset right. Like, then how do we actually curate the luxury experience for the client? What's that look like?
Yes. Before we go there, I just want to touch on that. There are some agents who may not be comfortable in that luxury space. Don't force it, right? So we had one agent who's like, you know what? This person's actually really great with the senior community. And let's not try to make them fit here when they clearly don't feel comfortable. So just know who you are, right? And know where you're happiest. So your question was about how to deliver.
Yeah, like now how do we actually curate that luxury experience for the client? We've done the studying on it. We've trained the team a bit. How do we actually get them to curate the luxury experience? What's that look like?
Yeah, so in my class, my workshop, the four essential pillars to build your luxury business is a 6 hour workshop, and we deep dive into that.
And we're going to cover it in the next 6 minutes, guys. I promise. We're going to get all of that.
Or
All of that in the next 6 minutes.
really, really
Promise.
important is understanding that there's a transactional journey that client goes through, a buyer or a seller. It's that first phone call, it's that first email, it is introducing a lender, it's all these transactionals. And that when you look at it, you have to look at, okay, during this transaction period journey, where can I remove friction? Right. So our job is to remove as much friction as possible in the experience. So, for example, if we say, okay, there's going to be a moment of friction here when they are about to go into an appraisal and it might not appraise, how do we set them up so that they don't feel that friction? Right. It's through preparation and conversation, et cetera, et cetera. The key handoff could be a moment of friction when there are no, garage openers are not there, all of that. So in the transactional journey, how to remove friction. Then we have to understand there is an emotional journey on top of that transactional journey. So as we're moving through a transaction, our clients are going through the highs and lows, right? And this is when we need to be extremely observant of got somebody in the kitchen here.
Never a dull moment when you're
Never know.
recording live, right? Like
Recording.
when you're doing these things live, there's never a dull moment.
So being along that transaction, like celebrating them when it is something really exciting happening and being prepared to catch them when you know it's going to be something difficult, right? And then what that means is sprinkling something in there that shows you that you know them. So for example, I always tell a story about little Owen. So Owen was 6 years old, blonde hair, bowl cut, and every time I walked in his house, we're selling his house, he growled at me. He looked at me and just growled like, I hate you. And what I learned was that Owen was like, you're making me leave my room. You're making me leave my house. And so just sending him, Dear Owen, thank you for being so great in cleaning your room. I know it's hard to pack up your toys. I can't wait for you to, find the next house and unpack your toys. And here's a Baskin Robbins gift card. Go have some ice cream with your parents. So being a keen observer of your clients and understanding where they are emotionally is just as important. So what we have entire checklist of from the moment we receive a call for a referral or introduction through close. And at each transaction journey, what email or what text needs to be sent, who sends it, if it's a gift, who orders it, what is it, what's a message that goes along with it. We have videos of how to tie a ribbon CKH style, right? It's down to that detailed.
Details matter.
Yes. Yeah. So that our goal was to build a system that if we were all on vacation, somebody came into our office and needed to take a listing our way, they would be able to kind of follow through, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
the systems has to be consistent. You can have the greatest systems that you develop, but if not consistent, what's it all for?
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And
Mhm.
if you have people that don't follow them and we don't uphold the standard,
That's right.
doesn't matter.
That's right. So that's how we do it.
When you look at teams, you work with a lot of agents in KW Luxury, right? You guys have thousands of earn-in people who are qualified to be in this, right? We were at the luxury symposium together not long ago, and there was hundreds of agents in there who are pushing their journey along the way with luxury. What do you see as the biggest challenge for most people in building their luxury businesses, right? And we're getting way off track now on the conversation, guys. But what do you see as the big challenges that holds people back from going from solo agent luxury to luxury team? What's the thing that holds them back?
What's the thing that holds them back? People not having a clear idea of where they want to go and who they want to go with, and who is going to be along the journey with them. It comes through that triangle. It leads systems and leverage, right? And you're so great at leverage and systems, and leads as well. So I think number one is they're unclear of what kind of business they want. Number two is they just hire anybody without the standards to get them to where they want to go. And then also they make it too complicated. It's not that hard.
Talk to me about the make it too complicated thing. Talk to me about that.
Oh, I have to have this car. I have to have this type
Mm.
of wardrobe. I have to join these clubs. I have to do all these things before I even start. And if you talk to some of the top agents, we have 13,000 earn-in agents with the Keller Williams in North America, 13,000. And talking to many of them, I mean, Gwen Volin started as a librarian. She was a librarian. She's like the quietest person, and she's selling homes to Ed Milet, right? So don't overcomplicate it.
You don't need the Bentley, you don't need the Louboutins.
No,
What you
no,
need is the
you don't.
service and the confidence.
Absolutely. And that'll get you there, right? So, one thing that we always do is that we also curate, well, we look at the team. Anybody that touches that client is part of our team, whether it's a vendor, it is a escrow person. So, we make sure we're in business with the top ones who can curate the same experience we expect. And ultimately, we ask ourselves, would we hire ourselves? Would we hire us? Our standard is very simple. Would this experience earn trust if there was no commission attached, if there was no payday attached? And would we hire ourselves?
I
Would we
love
hire
that.
ourselves to care for our parents? Yeah.
I love that. I love the self-reflective questions on it. It's fantastic. So, well, first of all, kudos on 13,000 to agents out there. I'm high-fiving all of you 13,000 out there, agents. You guys are awesome, selling more luxury real estate than anybody. And to Caroline and Brady, who have built an amazing community that gives those people a place to learn and to grow. So here would be my nugget that I took from Caroline today, and then I'm going to let her give her mic drop moment before we wrap up. Here's my nugget. It doesn't have to be that complicated, right? I think especially with luxury, we tend to overcomplicate it because those of us that don't come from a luxury background and we don't live it every day feel naturally out of place. Even if we understand a nice experience, we naturally just feel out of place there and we tend to overthink it, to overdo it. We see that all the time. We always make the joke about the new agents who have to have the business cards before they'll prospect anybody because what if somebody asks them for a business card? And I
Right.
think that happens a lot in luxury in particular of my car's not nice enough for me to sell luxury. My clothes aren't designer enough for me to sell luxury. But it's not about the things and the package. It's about the service and the experience. And I think that for me, that's my nugget is it doesn't have to be this polished version of you. It's the experience that you provide and the service that you provide. So I
Absolutely.
love that nugget. All right, Caroline, give us your mic drop moment, your one thing, your words of wisdom. If people leave this call with nothing else today, what do you want them to leave with before we wrap?
The luxury clientele doesn't care about what you drive or what you wear. They care about how you can consult them to goal.
I would drop my actual mic, but it's attached very significantly here so that it doesn't break.
Yeah.
And there we have it. They don't care about what you drive or what you wear. They care about how you're helping them reach the goal and the experience attached to it. I love it. Caroline, as always, thank you so much. You are always fantastic, and we appreciate you very much. To our wonderful viewers, we hope you found this of value, and we will see you all on our next expert interview. Have a
Thank
great
you
day.
for being my coach, Liz.
Always, always.